O my countrymen, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifices of India's martyrs. They fought bravely, they suffered, and they laid down their lives so that we could breathe in a free nation. Today, we stand here, not just to remember them, but to honor their undying spirit. Let us pledge to keep their dreams alive, to build a nation worthy of their sacrifice. Their courage, their devotion, their sacrifice shall never be forgotten. Vande Mataram. In the heart of 18th century India, war rages not only against the British but within its own lands. Princes, blinded by rivalry, seek aid from those who seek to conquer them. While Indian warriors fight bravely, their leaders remain divided, signing away their lands in desperation. With discipline and superior firepower, the British advance, not just through force, but through strategy, turning brother against brother. And as forts fall and treaties are signed in darkened tents, the common people watch, helpless, knowing their fate is sealed. This is the story of conquest, not by might alone, but by division. In the heart of a starving village, an Indian farmer kneels before the collector of an empire. His crops are gone, his debts mount, and his children cry from hunger. Yet, the British tax must be paid. Before him, a man in a red coat and powdered wig holds his fate in a ledger, numbers on a page, blind to the suffering they cause. His soldiers stand ready, seizing the last sacks of grain, leaving only dust and despair behind. This is the price of colonial rule, where the burden falls on the shoulders of the weakest and mercy is a word long forgotten. In a time when superstition and blind traditions held India back, one man dared to challenge the old ways. Ram Mohan Roy, a scholar and reformer, believed in the greatness of India's ancient culture, but he also saw the need for change. He spoke against sati, against child marriage, against ignorance. His message was clear: before changing the world, we must change our own minds. With knowledge and courage, he laid the foundation for a new India, one where reason and justice could shine. India was once known for its fine textiles, woven with skill and tradition. But under British rule, this industry was crushed. British policies flooded the market with machine-made cloth, leaving Indian weavers jobless and starving. Their once thriving workshops fell silent, their families plunged into despair. While British officers grew rich, the weavers of India faded into poverty, their cries unheard. The British conquest was not only of land, but of livelihoods, dignity, and hope. Inspiring and thought-provoking tone, reflecting hope and the power of knowledge. In colonial India, education became a tool of change. While the British introduced English to create clerks and servants, a new generation of thinkers emerged. They saw education as a weapon not of war but of words. They debated, discussed, and dreamed of an India where knowledge could challenge injustice. Inspired by reason and reform, they took their grievances beyond India to the British Parliament itself. A revolution of the mind had begun, one that would sow the seeds of India's freedom. Intense, dramatic tone, building anticipation. For years, Indian sepoys served under British rule, facing discrimination, insult, and injustice. But in 1857, the final blow came: a cartridge greased with cow and pig fat. A symbol of disrespect, a spark of defiance. The sepoys, once obedient, now burned with rage. In whispered voices, in clenched fists, a revolution was born. The British had unknowingly set fire to a nation ready to rise. Intense, powerful, and dramatic tone, highlighting Mangal Pandey's bravery. One man. One act of defiance. In 1857, Mangal Pandey, a soldier in the British Army, could no longer stay silent. The injustice, the disrespect, the cruelty, it had to end. With a cry of rebellion, he struck the first blow against the British. His fellow soldiers watched in shock as he raised his sword, challenging the empire. But the British were quick to react. Arrested, condemned, and executed, yet his sacrifice was not in vain. His courage sparked a fire across India, a fire that would become the first war of independence. Powerful, revolutionary tone, inspiring patriotism. Delhi was the heart of India, and in 1857, the rebels marched toward it with fire in their hearts. Indian sepoys and common people, united by their suffering, their anger, and their dream of freedom, rallied behind Bahadur Shah Zafar. Their chants shook the land, their steps echoed through history. The white man's rule must end, they declared, as the tide of rebellion swept through Delhi and beyond. The war for India's freedom had truly begun. Intense, heroic, and emotional tone, emphasizing sacrifice and valor. 1857, the year India rose in flames. As the British tightened their grip, heroes emerged. Begum Hazrat Mahal, Tatya Tope, Kunwar Singh, leaders who refused to bow. Their swords clashed, their voices roared, their blood soaked the earth. Though the battle was lost, the fight for freedom had only begun. Their sacrifice would inspire generations to come, for the dream of independence could never be silenced.